What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazique, aka Unique Mazique, the hardest working man in sports and gaming, and it is my pleasure to welcome my man Andreas Hale to this episode of the Fight Guys, which is a special episode because we are talking about WrestleMania 36 and all of its oddities. What's going on, Andreas? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, brother. How you doing?
I am doing the best that I can, and I think that's pretty much what everybody's doing as they are confined to their four walls and sheltering in place. So, how are you kind of handling the quarantine? Are you think you're doing a good job, or what's going on?
Man, this is so easy for me. Look, man, I work from home. I'm only traveling. It's the only time I leave the house, or if I'm covering a fight. Other than that, I'm in the house. It's just me in this house, and I'm quarantined every day. So this is nothing for me, brother. Like, this is no big deal. I got my video games. I got my Netflix. What else do I need? The only thing that kind of sucks is the fact that this weekend is WrestleMania, and I was supposed to be out there. I was hosting a panel, and all the indie events. So that part stinks. But aside from that, I'm good, man. I got more than enough food and liquor to hold me down for the weekend.
I'm in the same boat similarly, right? So I work from home, but the part I am missing is the gym, because I play a lot of basketball. I play like 3-4 times a week, and I haven't shot a ball in so long, and I'm feeling like I'm going through some type of because I'm trying not to gain this weight, because that's really the only workout I enjoy. So I got a bag down there, so I need to go down there and hit it, get out some frustrations or whatever. But like I always tell people, it's one thing to stay in the house by choice. It's another thing to feel like you can't go out.
True.
Even if you wanted to. So that's kind of a different thing. So, but we are here to talk about WrestleMania. And of course, COVID-19 coronavirus issues are affecting or have affected WrestleMania. So first and foremost, let me ask this. What are your thoughts about Vince insisting upon going through with this no matter what? Obviously, Roman Reigns pulled out of the match with Goldberg, because obviously he is immunocompromised because of the leukemia battle. So tell me how did you feel about that? I mean, I know you probably weren't shocked.
Not at all, man. I think, Vince McMahon and Dana White are the same guy. They're going to push through no matter what, right? So that's always going to be an issue where, health be damned, the show must go on. But for me, in this case, it was one of those things where, personally, I felt like this was one of the worst built WrestleManias in the history of WrestleMania in terms of storylines, narratives, intrigue. So they had a get out of jail free card where they could have postponed this thing and kind of rebuilt some of these storylines to get to this point. But they chose to go forward, and now we have this broken card with a lot of things that were slapped together at the last minute. We've got matches that fans aren't particularly intrigued in. I mean, we'll talk about them, like Alistair Black and Bobby Lashley. That there's no narrative there. Like, why is this match even happening? And the list goes on. Like, they could have postponed this. You're not losing any money because fans aren't going to be in the building. You're going to have a few pay-per-views, which is cool, but you could build a card better than this. This needed to be postponed. And now your Universal Championship match, which is allegedly going to be Roman Reigns' crowning moment, isn't happening. You gave Goldberg the title for absolutely no reason in particular. You sacrificed the Fiend. It's a lot of things that they could have done to just say, you know what, this is the perfect opportunity to push this card back a little bit and kind of fix these storylines.
Yeah, I really, honestly, I couldn't agree with you more, because more than any other industry right now, or I shouldn't say more than any other industry, as much as any other industry, professional wrestling, and more specifically the WWE, is really like at war with itself, right? Like, it's like this internal war that's going on with Vince and his ways and that method of storyline building that, to me, at this point, I think is pretty proven to be ineffective. And yes, they can point to certain, monetary, gains and that sort of thing. But overall, this is ineffective story building, ineffective storytelling. Like you said, some of these matches, Alistair Black, Bobby Lashley is the most ridiculous match. I mean, and here's the reason why it's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous because you have an intriguing character in Alistair Black who has tons of following, who has all this ceiling, right, for people to really get behind him one way or the other, or be against him, whichever the side they choose. But either way, his presence is a lightning rod, or has the potential to be. And then you got Bobby Lashley, who they somewhat made interesting, even though they elongated the whole angle with Lana and Rusev. But they finally found a way to make him not just the muscle-bound guy with absolutely no personality at all. So you have this potential, but then you just slap them together and you cheapen what could have been a well-built match, and you put it on a WrestleMania platform.
So waste. I mean, here's the real question. Where's Rusev? This guy, no matter what angle you put Rusev in, he manages to get over, right?
It's over, man. He gets over. But I feel like the list of people who fall into that category in the WWE is so long, man. The what happened to, or why isn't this guy or girl higher on the status list? I mean, I'm on the train of Dolph Ziggler is the most misused, underutilized WWE superstar to me in the last 15 years. I mean, I remember the Survivor Series when Dolph saved. I mean, that performance was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was perfect for him to get elevated. Like, if you're talking about in-ring work, being able to put himself over as a fantastic in-ring guy, somebody who sells. The only people who sell on the level of Dolph Ziggler is Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins. Those are the only guys who sell on that level. You can make the argument Seth Rollins oversells sometimes, but even Dolph. But it's still fantastic. They put guys over there. He's great offensively. It's just, and so you just add Rusev to that list. Add, Bray at one point to that list. It's ridiculous, man. I slap myself though, because I still watch.
We all torture ourselves, man.
Right?
We love this. Like, I love pro wrestling, and that's my thing. Like, I grew up, it was my gateway drug to everything else. Like, it was the first thing I ever saw. So I am going to torture myself through 2 days and 8 hours of bad storytelling because I love it. You know what I'm saying? In hopes that something pops for me, but I'm not, optimistic that this is going to do well. But to your point, Ziggler, Sami Zayn, who fortunately got a great spot on this card against Daniel Bryan in a match that could tear the house down, but these guys have been terribly misused. Guys like Ricochet, who it looked like for a hot second they were going to push him, and now he's relegated to not even being on the card. He gets squashed by Lesnar, and it's see you later. Yeah. So, I mean,
I'm not going to die on the Ricochet heel though, because
no, you shouldn't.
I think that he might be the worst mic performer I have seen in a long time.
Hey,
I mean, it's bad.
He needs a mouthpiece.
Oh my God. He needs a mouthpiece and a mask. He needs to go back to the previous gimmick, and he needs to I said a long time ago, they should brand him as the wrestling machine, or just as this high flying assassin who just comes in, wipes guys out in 15, 20 seconds with this series of crazy aerial kind of moves. And it's just like, oh my God, the assassin is struck. And he doesn't have to say a word. I wish he would put up all of his Power Ranger costumes. All of this stuff he's doing is just bad. He's just fantastic in the ring. That's it.
Yeah. He's that good, but once they put a mic in front of his face, the moment they signed him, I followed Ricochet's career since PWG and it's in New Japan. The man was never great at cutting a promo, and guys like that is where you realize like mouthpieces and managers and valets are necessary in pro wrestling. Some guys just can't get themselves over, so you need a mouthpiece to do so, and he's one of them. He's that good, but alas, here we are, WrestleMania, and a guy with that much talent is nowhere on the card. And going back to Alistair Black, who's clearly a guy with so much intrigue, but they have no idea what to do with him. So he's in a holding pattern. So you're going to put him in a match with Bobby Lashley, and we'll see what happens. And eventually, maybe they may push him, but who knows?
And we already know what's going to happen, right? So I'm one who puts a little bit of stock in the wrestling odds, right? So our partners, Bet Online, have some wrestling odds out here, some odds for each one of these matches. So I always find them interesting, right? Because especially interesting for this particular event, because it's already been recorded for the most part. We know, but obviously I know that Vince has sworn everybody to secrecy, and there's probably some serious consequences for anything for these matches leaking out. But Alistair Black is the biggest favorite on the card. So you know what that tells me? What is the point of this match? Everybody in the world knows that Alistair Black is a minus 700 favorite.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, so everybody knows that how this is gonna go.
I mean, he's lost one match.
He's lost one match
to AJ Styles.
Yeah.
He's not losing to Bobby Lashley on the biggest showcase of the Immortals. It's not happening.
It's not happening. And see, I have a problem with those kinds of matches. Especially, I don't have a problem with those kind of matches on the hour and 30-minute moment of Raw. But there should not be any match on a major pay-per-view that everybody, without a doubt, without a question, knows exactly what the result's going to be. There should not, that to me, that there should never be a match like that on a pay-per-view. Like, no. I mean, obviously you're going to oh, okay, well, I'm pretty sure Alistair's going to win, but let's see. There's no let's see to this.
No, there's not.
There's no let's see to this. So I don't think there's a swerve coming. I don't think there's anything coming. I think there's Black Mass coming, and that's it. That's what you're going to see. Now, what I do think in what I think is a little bit of an exception when we're talking about no storylines being built, Dolph Ziggler versus Otis. That one is probably one of the few on here that has actually been built, and it's been built decently.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think that it's because of how good Ziggler is in the ring and how underrated Otis is. Otis, his stamina obviously is an issue. He can only carry that kettle around at certain speed for so long. So I don't know how long this match is going to go. Dolph might have to carry it from an endurance standpoint, but it's an interesting match. And you're doing good storytelling when you're able to build something that's compelling and it doesn't have a title involved. That's when you know.
Yeah, and also this is a match where I truly don't know the finish. Like, you would think that Otis would get over to get Mandy back, but it reminds me of Jericho versus Christian with Trish Stratus in the middle. I think WrestleMania 19 might have been.
19, sounds like 19. I think it's 19. Yeah.
And in the end, Trish went with Christian at the end of the match and turned on Jericho. Look, everything doesn't need to have a happy ending, and this is one of those matches where you never know with these two. And you have a workhorse like Ziggler, and you have Otis, who is a guy that the fans love. Clearly, Vince is in love with the guy, and it's a match that carries some intrigue because they built a story without a title with something that fans have been able to sink their teeth into. Yeah. So hopefully we get a good match out of it, and maybe there's a decent payoff as well. But it's one of the few on an unnecessarily long 16-match card that I'm actually intrigued with this match. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I'm looking forward to that particular match. You know what a really good comparison for what this WrestleMania is?
Do you remember in, I guess it was the 90s, early 2000s, when it became this trend in hip hop for everybody to do a double CD?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody. And the second disc almost always sucked.
Yeah.
This is a double CD. This is what this is. This is a double CD of wrestling. And almost half or more than half of this is going to suck.
You remember Nelly, Sweat and Suit? Remember Bone Thugs, The Art of War double CD?
Yes.
Unnecessary. Like after Biggie did it, everybody wanted to do it, and then you started looking, it was like, this could all been condensed down. We didn't need 2 CDs for this.
Yeah.
We didn't. This is a double album that's completely filled with filler material.
Yes. 100. It's just, and even Biggie's a legend, but that Life After Death could have been one amazing CD.
Absolutely. I love that album. But yes, you're absolutely right. Like, look, man, I had it on cassette, and I was like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
This is a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a lot.
I don't want to keep flipping and dropping. I don't want to keep flipping and dropping.
And the underlying theme here is that double CDs were made to double the album sales by pressing 2 albums. Now we have 2 nights of WrestleMania. This isn't like Wrestle Kingdom, where you had 2 nights in New Japan and you felt like, oh man, we're building towards something because we have Okada and Ibushi, like we're building to something for the second night. This is 2 nights of unnecessary filler material that's trying to gouge the pockets of the consumer because now you feel like you have to. Look, I went to Dallas WrestleMania. That was like an 8-hour show, which was utterly ridiculous. Yeah. But now we're splitting it between 2 nights. You're going to try to get people both ways?
Yeah. Now, the only way that, in a way, here's one thing, here's one caveat I'll say, and one thing I'll mention. I believe that through this the shelter in place and the fanless arenas, I personally think that the mic work and the storytelling for what creative has been given from a time standpoint, I think that the work has been so much better than it was prior to this. I mean, the mic work looks like it reminds me of you getting a backstage look at an audition that when somebody knocked it out of the park. That's what it looks like. Like, this is the audition that we saw from John Cena that let us know that he was the guy. That's what almost every single promo looks like. And then the spot that they did with Corbin throwing Elias off of the balcony, that was cut up, obviously, to have him fall. That's something they never could have done on live television. So I appreciated that. So I say that to say, if this is done properly, perhaps they can use the first show to create something of a cliffhanger for the second show, because you have the benefit of having done this in a recorded situation where we can tell the story more uninhibited. And then also the other thing is, we don't have to worry about a last minute change necessarily because somebody's been listening to fans a whole bunch and then they decide to go and change what your original plan was. This kind of is what it is, so I think that could be a positive. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Could be. I think we're I don't think they're thinking like we are. I mean, in the sense of a 2-parter that gives you a cliffhanger and forces you to come back the second night. Because that's kind of what, going back to Wrestle Kingdom, when you have the Jay White and Okada and Ibushi, like the winners face each other the next night, would have been smart. Would have been smart to have the NXT TakeOver women's ladder match and the winner faces the winner out of Charlotte and Rhea Ripley on night 2, and you give us something to feed into the second night. Not giving the company that much credit. I love pro wrestling. I love the WWE, but yeah, sounds good in theory. Like, we're fantasy booking a lot of this, right? Like, you know who Vince is.
Right. We know he's not going to do that. He's going to go, big blonde guy wins next.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. And we're bracing ourselves for impact, so buckle up.
Yes. So another match on there, I talked a little bit about it, which according to the odds, and by the way, according to Bet Online, Otis is the -170 favorite to win. Dolph Ziggler's +130. Elias versus King Corbin. This one's actually even money according to Bet Online, -120 across the board. So that one there is interesting because clearly Vince loves Corbin.
You don't say.
Yes, but I will say this: Corbin, you know how the NBA gives out a most improved player. If that award existed in the WWE, I think Corbin should get it. Because now people hate him because he's a legitimate, good, old school heel, rather than just simply hating him because he was just so bad on the mic that you could barely listen to him. Now he's actually good at his job,
Yeah. So, okay. 4 years ago, we had NXT TakeOver in Dallas. We had Sami Zayn versus Nakamura. We had Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor. We had Baron Corbin versus Austin Aries. The Revival versus American Alpha.
That's pretty nice.
Out of that bunch, who would have picked Baron Corbin to be the guy who is main eventing, headlining, always in a prominent feud, and has the most protected move in the WWE? Nobody kicks out of the end of days.
No, nobody does.
I agree that Corbin has improved, but when I tell you that I don't care about this match one bit, I don't care about this match. Look, it's the work. I can't see this being a good match. I think if production can get involved like they did before and give us something that's a little bit fun, it can work. But my goodness, man, there's so many guys that are off the card, and I see Elias, and I'm like, what have you given me the past 4 months that I care about?
Yeah.
He's not a good baby face either. He's a better heel.
No, he's a much better heel. Much better heel. And you know the weird thing about it is that Elias is a good athlete and is not horrible in the ring. Corbin's a good athlete and is not horrible in the ring. But that doesn't make a good matchup for an in-ring product all the time. It's two bigger, clunkier guys, and it just doesn't seem like something. Hopefully they prove us wrong, but it just doesn't feel like a matchup that's going to produce a nice in-ring product. It feels like it's going to be slow, plodding, a bunch of, punches that look like they should have been thrown by, David Von Erich. It's just that's what it's going to look like. My expectations are not high for it. Now, I should also mention that Fight TV actually has Medusa and Alundra Blaze on tonight on Fight TV to discuss WrestleMania 36, and obviously they're going to probably get into some of the ways that how the different the production had to come about and their experience dealing with WWE and even this program. So make sure that you stay tuned to Fight TV for that as well. But I think we're in agreement about Elias and Corbin. It doesn't feel like it's going to be too stimulating.
No, it's a match that's just it's filler material.
Yeah,
it's that joint. What is it? The Nasty Girl song on the Life After Death album, which it's cool, but I can skip this one.
Yeah,
I can skip this. If I miss it, I can go get a pizza or something. I'm good.
Thug passion. It's thug passion. Yeah. Oh my God, it's terrible. Now here's another match, and I understand, and I'm already prepped for this, and I'm going to get some hate mail messaging for what I'm about to say. I don't ever need to see The Undertaker do anything else but say, "How you doing? I was in the WWE. I was great. I was a legend." But I don't ever need to see him in another match. And maybe 7 years ago, Undertaker AJ Styles would have made me feel some kind of way. But in 2020, I don't know, maybe the pre-recorded concept will really help the Undertaker. Maybe he'll only have to actually wrestle like 3 minutes, and then the rest of it will be like a bunch of cuts with a bunch of CGI or something. Maybe they can bring Undertaker from 1997 and have him actually wrestle AJ Styles in CGI. Maybe I would like that. But 69-year-old Undertaker, I know he's not 69. I'm just saying, it feels like he's 69 sometimes mid-match.
All right, so we love boxing, right?
Yes.
This guy named Roy Jones Jr. was fantastic in the ring.
Oh, it's hurtful.
Didn't know when to stop. Never figured out when to stop and kept going and going and going to the point where it starts affecting his legacy.
Yeah.
You look at The Undertaker stepping into this match with AJ Styles, losing the Roman Reigns, and when he goes down the ramp and, he leaves the gloves in the ring. We thought it was over. No, comes back. He squashes Cena. And now we're here with AJ Styles. First of all, I don't even understand why they're having this feud. Because you use government names? Because you talked about Sarah, his wife?
Yeah.
Is that enough for me to come out of this ridiculous retirement and have the match? Now, I will say this. I think the pre-recorded element could aid this match very well because it's a boneyard match. I have no idea what the hell that means, but I guess we're going to find out. There could be, which could be fun if they did this right, could be some involvement. We can see a Kane appearance. We can see maybe a Mick Foley or Mankind appearance. I'm fantasy booking the hell out of this, right?
Oh, my God. And I'm still not excited.
And I'm still not. My point exactly. I'm not excited. Look, I love AJ Styles. TNA AJ Styles was phenomenal.
Yes.
Pun intended. New Japan AJ Styles was excellent. Since he's come to the WWE, his matches with Cena were great, but ever since he punched Nakamura in the nuts, it hasn't been the same. And this match feels like the trophy that you give to the guy was like, we should have signed you 10 years ago. Yeah. And here's your Undertaker match. This is for you. This is not for the fans. Because none of us can look at this match and see a work rate that's going to be like, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. We're not getting that. So maybe this overproduced match can generate some pyro, fireworks, some special effects, something, some appearances. Maybe the Good Brothers get buried alive. Like, I don't know, but you're exactly right when you say I never, ever, ever want to see him in a ring again. Just like with Roy Jones, after he lost, I said, look, man, I don't need to see you. Preserve my legacy of you. My memory of you is what's important to me.
Yes.
I know, like, stop soiling it. And it's hard to tell somebody when to quit, but dog, you need to quit. It's over.
Quit, bro. It is done. It's a wrap. And I feel the same way about Taker, man. And I understand if Vince is going to keep writing you $1.5 million checks to take a flight to Saudi Arabia for one match, and it's going to write you a $2 million check to go to WrestleMania and to have a 20-minute entrance. The entrance lasts longer than the match. I get it. I probably would keep taking the checks too if I loved the art form the way he does. But man, it's like bad, man. It's bad. And like I agree with you. This is the trophy. This is like the equivalent of Paul Newman getting an Academy Award for Color of Money after, like, he's and all this different kind of stuff, and you give him the Academy Award for Color of Money because we passed you over so many times. It's just that's what this is. That's what this is, and it's just. Nah, yeah, and you know what? I really hate that I keep going through this card, and I'm really like crapping on every. Almost so far, the only thing we have collectively given a thumbs up to is Ziggler Otis. That's it. But according to Bet Online, Undertaker is a -400 favorite, which is nauseating to say, because maybe you know what? Maybe it's not. Maybe that means that this will actually be the last one, because maybe he'll be the guy who gets to win in his retirement match, unlike most guys.
I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. Like, him being a -400 favorite is so ridiculous. Look, you've already lost at WrestleMania. The mystique is gone. We're just here for lip service at this point. Yeah. Styles doesn't even need to win either. But, God, when there's few matches that I'm so apathetic against, and it's this one in particular. Like, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this. I don't care.
I think that might be my least favorite match. It's up there. It's between that one and this next one. And the funny thing is, I love both of these guys, The Fiend and John Cena. The Fiend is a -500 favorite to beat John Cena. Tied for the second highest favorite on the card behind Alistair Black and one other match. The Fiend obviously is, in my opinion, he is the best heel that professional wrestling has seen since, like, Perfect and Jake and Adrian Adonis. And just as a natural heel, he has that thing that, like, almost nobody else, almost no other people have. MJF is really, really good too, just especially because how young he is. He's really good. Because MJF is like IRS meets Mr. Perfect, in my opinion. That's the vibe I get with him just overall. But as good as Bray is, he can only do so much, because taking the title off him, well, first of all, I felt like they booked themselves into a corner with him anyway, because they went so over the top with his invincibility, and they did it so fast, and it got to a point where it's like, okay, so when you actually have him lose, nobody's going to believe it. And so then the person that you picked for him to lose to is Goldberg. Like, bro, this is not 1986 where you can just roll out the guy that looks like an action figure and everybody's going to go, yeah, dude, yeah. Like, what's going on, man? And I love Cena. I've never been a Cena hater. I think Cena is one of the most underappreciated performers in the smart community, not in overall, but by smarts. I think he is so massively underappreciated. His promo skills are on a whole nother level, and people just literally, like, he's literally like the LeBron James of professional wrestling. He's so good at the stuff that he's good at that people take him for granted. They just pencil it in. Oh yeah, 28 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Yeah, but he didn't do that much. That's because you're used to seeing him do 28, 9, and 9 every night.
Yeah.
You know, but the match is terrible.
All right. So I'm going to start with this. You are absolutely right with them booking themselves in the corner with the Fiend. The greatest character creation we've seen, minimum the last decade, maximum the last 20 to 25 years, around the time when The Undertaker and Kane first debuted. They should have had a slow build with the Fiend character. Putting him in the title match did them no favors because with the Hell in a Cell match, because he had one match where he squashed Finn Balor. They never ran it back, which could have been against the Demon, which could have given us so much more. Didn't get that. But now you booked yourself in the corner where he takes a sledgehammer to the face with chairs and gets up. So now it's unbelievable how you're going to beat this man. You put the title on him, and there's this theory, like you played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out as a kid, right?
Yes.
King Hippo, right?
Yes.
King Hippo, once you figure out how to beat King Hippo, he's like the easiest guy to beat, right? Yes. Most giants in pro wrestling have that. Once you take the veil of invincibility away, nobody cares anymore. The Fiend loses by a hip toss. That wasn't a jackhammer. That was a hip toss that Goldberg hit him with at the Saudi Arabia show, which was utterly ridiculous and just shattered the mystique of the Fiend. And from that point, I said, it's over. The character is over. Some people argue, I mean, they can rebuild him. No, you had your opportunity with somebody that was that special and you blew it. But here's my bigger qualm. John Cena versus the Fiend, I'm fine with this match if it was for the Universal title. If you put the idea that John Cena can break the record for most title reigns at WrestleMania against the guy who has never lost in the Fiend. Because as much as we know about John Cena, we know that he just can't stay away. So there's nothing in us that's going to say, you know what, Cena's just here for a paycheck and he'll leave. If he had a title reign, I would believe he could stay till SummerSlam. Yes. This would be a match where I have no idea who would win because there's so much on the line. But now there is nothing on the line. There is absolutely nothing on the line. And you took the title off the Fiend for this because you put the title on him too quick. And then he loses it in his first real title defense. Once again, I am apathetic. I don't care. I don't care. There's no investment emotionally for me to see either of these guys win. If Cena was going to break the record, you know how many fans would have got behind Cena to break the record for most world title reigns? Yeah. I'd have been here for that.
Yeah, every 8-year-old, and from 5 to 8 or from 5 to 13, they would have all been going for John Cena. And then people who have been in it for a while, been fans for 20 years or more, but still relatively, but I would say from 30 to 40, though, that group would have been in it. And what you just laid out is so much more interesting than what we got. Why in the world? I mean, here's my thing that I think is just so ridiculous. You could have had Bray and Goldberg in Saudi Arabia and still made just as much money and had the Fiend win.
Yeah.
Or if Goldberg was so adamant that he still wants to make himself this action figure in front of his son, if he's still so adamant about that and he just can't lose, then just have it in some sort of disqualification or something to that effect. But how in the world do you rationalize taking the title off the Fiend at that point and giving it to Goldberg? It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Here, it's a byproduct of Roman Reigns. This is the biggest issue with this, and now he's not even on the card. Yeah. This was all booked to have Roman Reigns, like Hogan must pose at the end of every WrestleMania. It's like right. Reigns must pose, and you put him in a position where you said, okay, maybe we don't book Reigns versus the Fiend. We book Reigns versus Goldberg in a match that nobody gives a damn about because right. It's like a guy nobody thought that Goldberg would beat Reigns. There's nobody on this planet that thought that. So the issue is, you could have ran with the Fiend versus Cena for the title. But I know in Vince's mind, it was Hogan must pose and Reigns needs the title. So that's how we got to this match. That's how we ended up with Fiend versus Cena in a match that has nothing on the line. Absolutely nothing. So
it's totally unbuilt. And they did fantastic promo work.
Yes.
On SmackDown. I mean, they killed it. I mean, it was fantastic. So really, that only made me more mad. Because if this is what you were going to do, you should have planned this out better. And then we could have got a month of this. leading up to WrestleMania. But
Yes.
instead, we got this abbreviated but brilliant. Brilliant not because you guys who set it up are brilliant. Brilliant because the two people who are involved are so good at making chicken salad. Essentially, this is what we got. So it's ridiculous, man. It's a bad match. It's a bad match.
It's bad. And, you know, again, going back to the Fiend character, because I assumed when he showed up on the scene, it was going to be the revenge tour before he got his hands on the title. Everybody that has got over and on him, from Orton to Cena and so on, because every iteration of Bray Wyatt's been ruined by Vince McMahon in this booking. So now we had a character that everybody grabbed onto, and now we're going to blow it again because, sure, he should beat Cena. He should be a big favorite, but it should mean something. There should be some level of significance in this match, and the stakes should be extraordinarily high, and the stakes are nothing. It's a Firefly Funhouse match. Didn't we do this with the House of Horror match where we had the maggots on the mat and it was absolutely terrible? Stop ruining what Bray creates.
Yeah, because you get it. Oh, you know what? That's a good idea, Bray. Let's do this with it. Let's not.
Right. Let's
not. Why don't you go and write for Ricochet? He needs it. Leave me alone. I got this. Next match is two very good in-ring performers. Two good mic performers. But I still don't care. Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. I can't say that it wasn't built, because it was. I just didn't care for the build. I didn't care for any of it. I've been totally, like, I love the building of Seth Rollins' stable. I like that. I'm a big stable guy. I love stables if they're done right, right? I think they are the lifeblood of professional wrestling when done properly. And this one had a good start, okay? AOP, and then you recruit Buddy Murphy. Even though getting Buddy Murphy right off after he got smashed didn't necessarily work, but you kind of needed, they did kind of do this by putting the tag team titles on them. You needed to make it seem like, you know, Seth turned them around. That would kind of work. But now it's like Buddy's not even really a part of anything. He's just totally out of everything, and which I thought keeping him involved no matter what happens, even if he got hurt, no matter what, keeping him involved I thought was important, just with name and mentions. I don't see him involved as much as I think he should be. And I'm gonna tell you something that really has killed Kevin Owens' whole vibe for me: the stunner. I think it is just so trash that he's too much of an individual. He's got too much in his own bag to have to borrow something out of somebody else's.
Where do we start with this? Listen, I'm one of the biggest Kevin Owens guys that you will know. Like, I loved Kevin Steen in ROH. His feud with Sami Zayn with El Generico was phenomenal. He's a great in-ring talent, a phenomenal talker. He's an excellent in-ring talker. The things that he does, he's fantastic.
Oh, he's the best. Him and Jericho are two of the best, but Kevin Owens, I think, is the best.
Yes. But the issue is Kevin Owens, the babyface, is kind of troubling. You know, it doesn't necessarily work for his character unless he was a true tweener, and he hasn't been. He's worked over the sympathy of the crowd, and now we have this match with the Monday Night Messiah, which I love Rollins' heel turn. I think his character needed that reboot.
Yes.
But this is another match where stakes aren't high. You know, we're just having a match. And for two guys who came from ROH who we know can tear the house down, this should be a blood feud to some degree, where something should be on the line. But I think the roles are cast wrong. I think that the feud has been relegated. Even though they've made it a few Monday Night Raws, it doesn't have the level of importance. And you're absolutely right about the stunner, because, look, man, if you're going to do Canadian Destroyers in the WWE, let's get the package pile driver back. Because that was Kevin Owens' finisher in ROH, for those who don't remember. The package pile driver was a devastating finisher.
Yeah.
These two guys should tear the house down. This should be a match that, you know, they can have a match in a closet. It could be a 5-star match.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's given the prominent placement on this card. I don't think it's going to get the time that it needs. And there's another match on this card that's probably going to suffer from the same thing. But again, I just don't care. I just hope that they live up to my expectations in ring and deliver a surefire barn burner of a match with no interference, just two guys tearing the house down. But without the empty arena might affect this match as well. Because if you don't have the oohs and the ahs of the crowd, and these guys are pulling off these incredible moves, what are you left with? You're just left with two guys having a match where somebody's going to win, which I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say Kevin Owens finally gets a win here. But
he is the minus 220 favorite, according to Bet Online.
It's a pretty significant favorite. I wouldn't cast him that high because I can see Rollins going over, because Rollins is taking that mantle of Mr. WrestleMania, where he's had these phenomenal moments. Listen, his promo on Raw where he talked about his accomplishments, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But the stakes just aren't. Like, these are two guys that I'd like to see in a ladder match.
Oh, yeah, that would be beautiful.
But there's no title on the line. The stakes aren't high enough for two guys who are that good in the ring. It sucks. I hope this match delivers. But I think the build in Kevin Owens being a babyface has kind of hurt this match.
Yeah, I think that while I kind of don't care, I feel like because both guys are so talented that this one has a glimmer of hope because they could just outperform the story.
Absolutely.
They could do that. So because of that, I'm a little bit better with this one. But yeah, they weren't given a lot to work with here. They weren't given a lot to work with. Just flawed setup from the beginning. Now, this particular match, you want to talk about properly built. I got to give credit where credit is due. It's been properly built. It has been drastically and negatively impacted by the pandemic for sure, because this one really depends on the crowd being there, and that's Edge against Randy Orton.
Oh yeah.
It's been properly built. You couldn't really have built it any better. Like this Randy that we're getting is as good as any Randy of any other era.
Absolutely agree.
He's really this good right now. Like, he's sick, and literally and figuratively, he's sick right now. So, but Edge is a minus 500 favorite to win, which I think that might be a little high, but I definitely think he's gonna go over. And this match could be really good, but you know what, Ed? I don't know. Tell me if you're with me with this. I literally watch Edge and I'm nervous.
Yes.
Agreed. I'm like, dude, don't hurt yourself, bro. Like, and he's going too. I'm telling you, he is going. He's not leaving nothing hanging out. Like, he's not leaving nothing on the table. He is going. And I guess that part of that, it's like almost like a healthy anxiety. And I guess it's only healthy unless somebody throws up the X, then it won't be healthy anymore. But right now it's a healthy anxiety. And because you are, as a fan, you're thinking about that. You're like, dude, your neck hurt for real, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that match?
This build has been phenomenal. You know, the moment the Edge came back at the Royal Rumble and these two cutting their promos, like for a moment I started to realize, like, damn, I don't think I really appreciated Edge while he was here.
Yeah.
You know, the Rated R Superstar was very special. He was a great promo, and these two have built a great story to this last man standing match. I think a lot of this hinges on the future of Edge. If this is Edge's last match, maybe he goes out on his back against Orton, which is my concern. If Edge wants to continue wrestling, yeah, he may go over here. But this will hurt because the crowd would have been on fire for this match.
Yes.
Because honestly, we never know which Randy Orton's going to show up. And when he's motivated, he's unbelievable. When he's not motivated, you get bad matches.
Yeah.
But in the case of Edge, and if you're feeding off of the crowd, these two could have tore the house down. It is the one storyline where I think everybody's invested. Mm-hmm. I think everybody wants to see a winner. I think everybody really hates how Orton has handled this entire thing, and you feel for Edge, the guy who's come back. This is the only storyline that's been properly built over the course of 4 months. I was watching WrestleMania 10 the other day. Mm-hmm. They built the Bret Hart-Owen Hart feud at Survivor Series. That's when you used to build feuds for months over a time till it reached the boiling point.
It was
a majority of the matches on this card were built in about 3 weeks' time.
3 weeks.
Except for this one. And that's why it's white hot as it's reaching its pinnacle. And taking Edge off of TV was excellent as well. So I think this has all the elements of being a great match. I'm just nervous because I don't know what Edge can do for an extended period of time. But I think this I don't want to say it's the match of the night. This may be your Cody versus Dustin match at Double or Nothing, where the storytelling is that good. And I hope that's what we get out of this match. I'm looking forward to this match.
Yeah, Cody versus Dustin was fantastic at Double or Nothing. And my expectations were not even that high for that match. So it definitely exceeded, what I expected. I almost thought we were going to see like what we see from Venus and Serena, how they would, when they would play each other, it would be like, I really don't want to beat her that bad, kind of a thing, and I thought we were going to get like, they weren't going to really go, but I think they really knew that maybe people thought that and went the extra mile just to show that they would go hard. So if we get that from this, it will be the match of the night. I think it will be the match of the night. We also got The Miz and Morrison, who I think have been fantastic. I think that was a really smart thing to put them back together and not against each other. Not yet, at least. The champions against the New Day and the Usos. You kind of can't go wrong with this. The Miz and John Morrison are our favorite to go over, and they retain their titles. You can't go wrong with this. I mean, I think everybody knows the New Day is not going to win again. The New Day they've kept the titles all the time. The Usos probably not, because they have a long history of title winning both on Raw and SmackDown. But I think as far as in-ring, this could be stupid good. It could be stupid good.
Yeah, I think the New Day have become the guys who, when the tag team titles have nothing going on, they just put them on the New Day.
Yeah,
that's what the New Day have become. They're just like, okay, well, we have nothing to do with these titles. Put it on Big E and Kofi and Xavier whenever he comes back. They'll keep it nice and warm for somebody to take it off. And that was what Miz and Morrison did. Now, if you go to the dirt sheets, you're led to believe that something's up and this match is going to change because of what happened with the Miz. We have no idea what's going to happen here and how this match is going to play out. This could be excellent. Could be. Because if the triple threat as a tag team ladder match were to stay intact, you have Big E, who is a foundation, you have Miz, who's like a ground worker, and you have Kofi and Morrison and the Usos who could do this ladder work. These guys could tear it up. Yeah. I think this is a victim of circumstance now because we don't know what's going on with Miz. We don't know how this match is going to be, how it's going to develop. We don't know who's going to be in the match, and that's a scary thing. And it's like it's one of those things where situations like this is why WrestleMania should have been postponed. Because it was inevitable that somebody could get sick. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I figure we won't know what this match is going to be until the weekend.
Honestly, I feel like if they are smart, right, they could actually use the fact that because the match is taped, right, and because people don't know what's going on with the Miz, you could use the unknown as a way to do something, as a way to shock, as a way to surprise people, as a way to bring in an element that people are not, I don't know what's going to happen. Like you could give John Morrison a mystery partner. You can not even acknowledge the fact, because obviously the WWE hasn't really come out and really just going deep into what's going on with the Miz. They cannot acknowledge it until the taping, and then come out and say it there. And I think they could use this to their benefit. If it does stay intact as a triple threat ladder match, I think it could be great. The other thing I think could happen, and I shouldn't say could happen because it probably won't, but I do think that it is time to flip Kofi heel. I really do. I think that having Kofi turn on Big E would be amazing. There is something in me, and this is probably, maybe it should or shouldn't be there, but as an African American, there's a thing that you almost don't want. It's like I've heard a lot of black wrestling fans be like, I don't want to see that. I want Kofi and Big E to stay together forever. But they can still be friends in real life. On here, this would be pretty interesting. If they injected that into this, the shock that would create, not to mention on the heels of what could be an interesting match, because I think that Kofi as a different character would really do something for his legacy as a performer. And I think that if you really are looking for him to get the respect as an overall performer that he probably deserves, but we're not really sure because he's never really been very much different than what he is now. I mean, it was a lot. He wasn't as silly before, but I don't know. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, not here. Because I don't trust the company to keep that edge for whatever Kofi would be up. I think the stakes need to be really high for the New Day to break up. And I've mentioned this before to a few people. The only way I would ever want to see the New Day break up is if they were headlining WrestleMania in a triple threat match for a title.
Oh, that'd be nice.
It's the only reason I would be like, you know what, this could work. Otherwise, because everybody wants to see a Big E solo run. We've asked for it for years. The man's amazing on the mic. He's got the build, he's got the size, he's got the athleticism, but we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I think if you separate them, as an African American, I'm not very confident the WWE knows what to do with them as singles wrestlers right now, unless there is a reason to break them up. I don't think this match is it. So yeah, I'm sorry to poop on your idea.
I'm fantasy booking, man. That's what
I know, but it's just the level of intrigue in this match. I think ultimately, if we're gonna pick a winner for this match, it needs to be Miz and Morrison because they need to hold on to those titles a little bit longer. But other than that, I think there's so many elements of unpredictability in this particular match and one other match, which we'll get to in a moment, that I don't know. I just think ultimately these guys will still hang on to the titles. I hope we get a great match, and I hope everybody's healthy. I guess this is the one match where I'm going, man, I hope everybody comes out of this healthy.
Yeah, man. You don't want you don't want to fight. Man, the firestorm that Vince would be under if the Usos, the New Day, and John Morrison are sick. That would be crazy. But yeah, that next match, I don't know if this is the one you were referring to, Sami Zayn against Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental title. Sami Zayn is a -200 favorite to retain. I think that makes sense because this is a put Sami over. And this is a perfect guy to put him over against. It can have a fantastic match. It could probably lead to Sami Zayn smashing Drew Gulak or something like that, for a week or two as well. In ring wise, this could be great. It could be just fantastic. I don't like the way Sami Zayn won the title, but I think that they can fix that with some nice, solid defenses. And this is a perfect one to inject in there.
Yeah, this is the match I was referring to. When it comes to work rate, these guys can absolutely tear the house down. If anybody's noticed lately with Daniel Bryan, since last year's WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan has been a guy who's clearly been using his influence in the locker room to get people over. Whether that was Kofi, whether that was giving the Fiend Bray Wyatt the one match that gave credibility to that title run because it was an excellent match. Working guys like Lesnar, Daniel Bryan is here to just put people over. And I clearly believe that in that locker room, he said, look, give me some time with Drew Gulak because Gulak wasn't doing anything. And those guys turned an excellent performance. So I think when we get to as much as he invested into the WWE, I think this match was totally his idea.
Probably.
And for that reason, Sami Zayn has to go over because aside from Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn is the most underutilized talent on the roster. He's unbelievable in the ring, and he has not had a chance to really let go and cut loose. This is the match that if you give these guys time, they can give you a 5-star match in a bedroom closet because they're that damn good. So hopefully it delivers. This is the match where the storyline, I don't care. I just want to see the match. And the other guy who's also underutilized, that's not involved in this match, they got to do something with him sooner or later, is Cesaro. He's another guy that we haven't seen much of, but he's an unbelievable talent. But I think these guys could work a circle of matches from here to SummerSlam and beyond and entertain us. I don't care about the storyline. Just give me great matches, and hopefully this one delivers.
I would agree. Cesaro is the other guy. I was thinking of him when we were talking earlier, but he definitely is the other guy. All right, so we got the SmackDown Women's Championship elimination match. The favorite, fairly heavy, is Sasha Banks to win. The biggest long shot, everybody knows, is Tamina. Everybody knows Tamina's not going to win. That was the whole reason why they had the little show of force scene that they had on SmackDown. Why she's in there, I don't know. They could have had Molly Holly in there. She would have had better odds. It just is what it is. But Sasha versus Bayley was probably supposed to happen at WrestleMania, but now I guess it's supposed to happen at SummerSlam. They're gonna try to rekindle that takeover NXT takeover match that they had in New York about 4 or 5. I don't know how long I lose track of the time, but it was a good match. I've never been a huge fan of Bayley's in-ring work. I find her very stiff and very slow and very unathletic. But she tries hard. And so I do give her credit for that. She works hard.
I hate this match.
It's bad.
Because Bayley's heel turn is not what they wanted it to be. Right. And it's been extraordinarily stale. And the blow up with Sasha is inevitable, but
yes,
to have it in this match doesn't make any sense. Lacey Evans is a terrible babyface. Terrible babyface. Unless Tamina gets the Zack Ryder look where she just shocks the world and wins the title. I don't know why she's in this match.
Naomi.
I love Naomi. I think as far as the talent is concerned, in terms of sheer athleticism, she's excellent.
Yes.
But this is just such a weird match. And it's an elimination match, if I remember correctly, as well. It is. Which means this might be a long match. Yeah. And Bayley's only as good as her dance partner.
She could have Fred Astaire, man. She could have Michael Jackson, and it still doesn't work out. It doesn't work out, man.
So the inevitable Bayley Sasha blow up is the problem is who turns face. Because I think if you're fantasy booking this match, you need to reboot Bayley and get her off of television for a while.
Yeah.
So we need an injury angle. But I don't think it happens here. And I think the finish that everybody expects with Sasha going over and becoming champion to cause friction is almost too obvious because we don't know, because of this pandemic, when they're going to be recording again after WrestleMania to continue this narrative.
Yeah.
So the safe thing here is to keep Bayley with the title. The unsafe thing here, which is really concerning, is they put that title on Lacey Evans. And I think that's what's going to happen. I hate it.
I agree. Lacey Evans is very talented, but she's a bad face.
She's awful.
Awful face. It's
so bad.
I eat apple pie, and I talk like this, and I'm all about the troops. This is the wrong time for this is not 1987, and because you sound like you're about to say, "Go Trump for 4 more years." That's what you sound like you're about to in your next promo. So it's just like, lady, I liked you better when you were trying to make us not like you.
Yes.
You were much better then. So yeah, it's not it could be a decent match because elimination matches are just kind of cool anyway to me. I don't know. I just dig, like, the Royal Rumble is my favorite match of every match in every company, period. There's no other matches that I like more than Royal Rumble, and it is because of the eliminations and the unknown, who's coming down the aisle and that sort of thing. It's just amazing. I love it. I do it in WWE 2K20. I'll just get a bunch of people and just have the game play it, simulate it. So it's just dope, but yeah, this match, I'm not as super far down on it, but I'm not high on it at all. Not at all. But Sasha is the favorite, so we'll see what happens. We got the NXT Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley against Charlotte Flair. Rhea Ripley is the -180 favorite. I do think that Charlotte's going to put her over, as well she should. Rhea Ripley is one of the most physically impressive wrestlers I have seen in a long time. Like, it's crazy. She just is the image of like this power and dominance in the ring it's crazy. Like, it's like when you watch her and you see her like face up with somebody, you like, whoa. It's just like, she's impressive. She is definitely impressive as a presence. And I think that's one of the most underrated qualities in wrestling is presence. And she has it. It's a reason why when you hear Brock Lesnar's music hit and he just walks out there, people go, whoa, and they get excited. He has presence. At one point, Goldberg had that. You know, Rhea Ripley has presence. So, and Charlotte, in my personal opinion, Charlotte doesn't work bad matches. She just goes so hard and she's so athletic and she's so good at pretty much everything. She doesn't work bad matches. I think her and Rhea Ripley will work a good match, but I do expect Rhea Ripley to go over.
All right. I hate this match is at WrestleMania.
Yeah, okay.
Because it diminishes the NXT women's title because Charlotte should be coming to Rhea's house to get that title.
Makes sense.
That's problematic for me because also on a 16-match card, this could get lost in the shuffle.
It could.
My second issue with this is I like Rhea, but the moment they turned her babyface, they took her edge away. She's become a toothless champion. Where before she got the title, when she defeated Shayna at War Games, there was an edge to her, the no-nonsense edge. Watching her get kicked in the back by Charlotte was like, oh, I'll see you at WrestleMania. That's Rhea Ripley I know.
She would have been back in there.
And it seems like something happens with characters like Rhea, Becky, which we'll talk about in a second. Once they become champion and once you turn them babyface, the edge is gone. And it concerns me because as great as Charlotte is, I think we overrate Rhea's work a little bit because she had the right partners. Because if anybody remembers her UK run, like they had to get the title off her because she started to stale out a bit. And I think we're in danger here. Charlotte can't win this match because it would hurt the NXT women's title. And I don't know what you do with it. You can't take it off of NXT.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Rhea's got to go over, and Charlotte needs to make her look like $1 million. I just think this match was supposed to happen at TakeOver. I don't think this is the right place for it. I like Rhea, but this ain't the place. This ain't the place for this match.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see what you're saying. But I also see what they're going with, trying to showcase somebody who they clearly think is like the future of their women's division. And this is like her introduction to people who don't watch on Wednesdays and to the super mainstream wrestling world, because they're like, this her. She's gonna be the one that's holding it down. She's gonna be the one with the multiple title reigns. When and if Ronda comes back, she's the one that's gonna look face to face with Ronda. We won't have a problem even maybe putting her over against Ronda. It's her. And so because of that, I get it. I understand where you're coming from, and I certainly see how that could have worked. I don't have a problem with it happening here. I just like the matchup too much. Now, I do agree that Rhea can be a little clunky. So because she can be clunky, Charlotte's going to really have to work to make it look good. And during the lifting moves, when Rhea's showing the power, Charlotte's going to have to ragdoll it. She's going to have to really sell the power, because Charlotte's so strong herself. And, you know, Charlotte's a big girl. Like she's a big girl,
yeah.
You know, and so it's physically, Charlotte's the closest thing to Rhea, you know, in the women's division. I'm talking about outside of obviously someone who's built to be bigger like Nia Jax. But in terms of that the more what you would call the women's heavyweight division and not the women's super heavyweight division, she's the closest. So it's going to be interesting. So I'm interested in this match. I'm interested in seeing how it plays out. I'm hoping they don't steal us out and kill us with it though. But
yeah, here's my other concern is that like the moment that Charlotte won the Royal Rumble, I didn't like that, because the issue that I have is you're dimming the light on Shayna Baszler, who Shayna kind of needed to win that Royal Rumble. Because let's be honest here, everybody knew she was going to win the Elimination Chamber. The whole vampire biting angle, like it felt like they were working with something, and no inside information, but I feel like Vince is like soured on Shayna a little bit and has moved towards Rhea. The fact that we have 3 women's matches on here, and including the women's tag title, which I don't know when that thing gets defended, once every 8 months.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have all this here, one match is going to have to suffer.
Yeah.
I don't know which match it's going to be, and I feel like there's a lot of stock being put on Rhea, but I feel like a lot of stock should have been put on Shayna because Shayna is the woman who has had a run in NXT and it needs to be built up as a viable force. And now it's shifted directly to Rhea Ripley because Rhea beat Shayna. Shayna's in the main title match, but this should be the match of the night. I just would like to see it on TakeOver where we know we would have got the time and the work rate because that's what TakeOvers are built for.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna give you just the raw for how I feel why this is. Shayna had a shorter leash because she's not viewed as attractive.
There it is.
That's it.
Ding,
That's
ding.
it. That's all it is. That's all it is. I mean, she had a shorter leash because she's not somebody that most, of WWE's fan base is going to flock to want to see, be just off of the visual because it's the WWE. What hardcore fans don't realize is that they are the minority. That's what they don't realize. Like hardcore wrestling fans who can tell you everybody's move set and tell you the original name of every renamed finisher don't realize that they are the minority and that the business is not being driven to satisfy them. It's being driven to satisfy the people who walk past the television and take a second glance because of whoever is on the screen. And Shayna is not a second glance person. Former casual. And that's why, look, you got 5 minutes to start a fire. If I come back and there's only smoke, I'm stamping you out.
Yep.
And that's what's happening. I don't think Shayna is fantastic on the mic. I do know she has that presence that I talked about. She walks out and for whatever reason, she sells who she is. And her move set has a good validation because she's an actual former mixed martial artist. Got beat a lot though, which they don't a lot. She took a lot of beatings. Her and Jessamine Duke took a lot of beatings, but she has a far better martial arts background than Sonya Deville, who they keep trying to push. She got like a wushu bronze medal. They trying to push her as this mixed martial artist, which is crazy, but okay. But that helps Shayna. But that's why. That's totally why, and yeah, man, I don't know. But I'm interested in the match. Now, Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is the minus 350 favorite to go over. I'm going to tell you right now, I am probably top 5 biggest fans of Drew McIntyre on the planet, right? Like Drew McIntyre is my guy. Like that dude should be on Game of Thrones. That dude should be rehashing He-Man. That dude should be I'm talking about any kind of medieval movie role you have where somebody's supposed to be slinging a sword and yelling a lot. He should be playing the lead role or some type of villain in the movie. He is the guy. He should win, but I can't count how many times I've seen matches with Brock and people who should win and saw Brock go over.
Okay. I agree with you on Drew McIntyre. You know what I don't like about Drew McIntyre?
What's that?
This babyface turn. And this is why. It's not even necessarily the turn.
At first, though.
My problem with this is the countdown to the Claymore kick is so corny and contrived.
That's pretty stupid.
And this match is believable on so many levels because you look at Drew Mac and you're like, oh, yeah, physically, he looks like he can deal with Lesnar.
Yeah.
This match should be actually a really good match. This is actually a match where I wouldn't mind because I wanted to see Drew Mac go over in front of a large audience, and we're not going to get that here.
Nah.
I am almost totally fine with Brock going over in a hoss match with two guys. Because listen, a lot of people talk about Brock, but a motivated Brock is He's one of the best in the business, period. Yeah. Now, if you have a motivated Brock and Drew kill each other in this match and set the stage for maybe SummerSlam to have a return bout, because I think Drew is so good that his moment shouldn't be in an empty arena, you know, without the fanfare, the pyro, and everything that he deserves, because he's got it. Mm-hmm. So let these two kill each other. But this match, if Brock is motivated, I think we're getting a hell of a match. Because every time that Brock is motivated, look, even the Goldberg match, which we all were like, why is this match even happening?
Man, when he leapfrog, dude,
he's unbelievable. He does things that nobody else can do.
I was like, did he just leapfrog, bro? Like, I was like, yeah.
So I'm of the mind that I wouldn't mind Drew losing this match to build an edge, because I think this could be a longer feud. And then there's always the question is, what is Brock without the title? I know people get tired of him with the title. Mm-hmm. But I think there's something about him that's believable that makes it very difficult for him to beat. Like, even when Seth beat Brock last year, it didn't really help Seth. Mm-hmm. The title found its way back to Brock Lesnar through Kofi, because Brock has been so believable, and whoever he puts over should get that rub. And I think Brock winning here in a match where he's inches close to death, where he just barely covers him, is a type of match that we can see a return bout, and there's more juice in that actual feud, because they didn't get the benefit of having a long feud for this match. Yeah, it got truncated because of the pandemic. But I'm going to pick Brock, and I know that Drew should win, but I just want it to be in front of more people. That's all.
I understand that. I would love to see Brock not win, but to stay and to go on a because I can tour. And what I mean by that is, for him to seemingly randomly pick out targets and just show up and just destroy them, see some otherwise disconnected guys. I mean, just out of nowhere, from the bottom of the mid card to the guy who just got to NXT, all the way up to the top of the food chain on Raw and SmackDown. And why are you doing this? Because I can.
It's fair.
I would just, so if you want to ask me what would he be without the title, that right there, because you never know when it's going to hit. And when it hit, it's almost like a jazzed up, like 3-minute warning almost, but just something else, because you just don't know when it's going to hit. And when it hits, and when he comes out, you don't, if it's 2 or 3 people out there, you don't know who his target is. And then ultimately have it happen to somebody who you are actually going to do something with him. I think that is how you make Brock so relevant. You still allow him to work his part-time deal, his part-time schedule, and every one of his appearances absolutely means something.
Yeah. So there's one other concern with Drew Mac winning. Who's his first feud? There is no heel that's built enough that I care about, because you're only good as your opponents as champion.
Absolutely.
And I think we've seen the Seth Rollins dance, and he's the number 2 heel on Raw, and we don't want it to be him. So that's my other concern with Drew winning, because they pivot away from Brock. I can't see anybody that I'm interested in Drew Mac feuding with to build that character as a champion. So that's why an elongated feud with Brock, I think, is a little bit more, because you can start building somebody else from underneath, whoever it is.
If Sheamus was on Raw, that might
work. Sheamus? Where's he been? He came back and killed Chad Gable. We ain't seen him.
We've seen him since. I don't know what happened. Maybe he was uncomfortable with the with the situation and didn't want to work through that. I don't know, but I don't know. I felt like that might be somewhat interesting. Obviously, Drew wins that feud, but it might get you to. I might pay attention to that if it runs the course of 3 to 4 weeks of television programming time, and then is a match on a lower level pay-per-view, something like, I might watch that. And then it's a bridge. That would have been an acceptable bridge, but was on SmackDown, but now he's just smacked. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with him. Yeah, he's crushed Chad Gable, which I didn't really like either. I really think I don't. This is a little off topic, but I really think that Chad Gable has some serious like Kurt Angle meets Shawn Michaels appeal.
Absolutely, but they turned him into Shorty G and ruined everything.
And ruined everything. Like he got it, man. He's got it. You know, and I don't know why you put this stupid little half bodybuilder basketball uniform on him and called him Shorty G. Like whoever thought that was a good, what's the ceiling for Shorty G?
This.
Why would you ever give somebody with as much talent as Chad Gable a gimmick that they'll probably never outlive within your promotion?
I don't know, man. I can't figure that one out for the life of me. I don't know.
I don't understand. I can understand you doing something like that with like maybe even like Jinder Mahal. Like, because Jinder Mahal's a big, huge guy, you know, but he's not as talented as Chad Gable. So I can understand you doing something like that with him. I can even understand you doing something like that with like Heath Slater, who is talented and more talented than Jinder Mahal, but I don't think he has the ceiling that Chad Gable has either. I don't get it. It's kind of weird to me. It's kind of weird to me. But at any rate, the last match, and we've talked a little bit about this already, Shayna Baszler is the minus 180 favorite to beat Becky Lynch and to become the Raw Women's Champion. Is it time to take the belt off Becky?
Yes, but I don't think it's going to happen. I say yes because Becky is better in the chase. I say yes because Becky's was the hunt. When she became champion, again, I don't know what they do with these characters. And they did this on-screen romance with Seth Rollins, and they booked her with Lacey Evans, took all the fire out of Becky Lynch. I think we need to find that fire again. And in order to find that fire, I think Shayna is somebody who's imposing enough that if she were the champion and put Becky back into the hunt, I can buy into that. But I don't think, and I referred to this already, I don't think Vince sees it. The pattern, they started I think they pivoted away from her with the Royal Rumble, which I think should have happened if they believed in her. They did the whole bite angle. They had to run through the Elimination Chamber in a match that we all knew she was going to win. There's been no character development. Becky hitting Shayna in the ring while Shayna's cutting a promo in the dark. I thought that was a heelish move, but Sarah, here we have this match, but I don't think they're going to take the title off Becky. I don't think that Vince believes in Shayna as the top dog in the women's division, but that's what should happen because we need to fix Becky Lynch. Also, Becky Lynch's in-ring work
Thank you.
Not that
say
good.
it. Say it. Say it. Say it. Say it. And people don't want to say that. They don't want to point that out. Becky and Bayley are both subpar in the ring. They are both thick-calved, slow plodders. You know, I would argue Dean Ambrose, John Moxley is the same kind of way, but he kind of tries to make up for his with just this brutality. So it changes the style. So that's how he masked his lack of athleticism. But they don't even do that. They just move about the ring extremely slow.
Yeah.
I will give them both the fact that they will both take a bump and without question, and they will do it and they will work. So neither of their deficiencies are because of a lack of effort, a lack of preparation. They have just come crashing into their athletic ceilings, and there is nothing else for them to do or to improve upon in the ring because they can't get in. They've both been taught. They've both been in the business for a long time. They've both been through Becky's, independent scene before she even got to the WWE. She has worked. She's put in the work. This is what she's got from an in-ring standpoint. Thankfully, she channeled her inner Conor McGregor and created this, this persona for herself that really just masks the fact that she's an average to below average worker in the ring but she's got a personality that booms. And I totally agree with you. She has to fix herself. They have to find a way to fix her. They have to find a way to get the edge back. And I agree, she is better in the chase. But I think she needs more than that. I think she needs more than a reboot of the man. I think she needs something altogether different. Maybe she takes that whole man thing to I'm the man thing to the next level. Maybe she comes back with a really kind of boss buzz cut and just different to the point where she just comes out just in that way, you know, and she was like, I had to cleanse myself. I had to let go. I had to, you know, something like that. I mean, because, you know, she can certainly pull it off. She can certainly pull it off. If she wants to do that, she can definitely pull it off. Maybe that's what it is. But just having her come back and cut a promo where she walks around the ring and she stuck around, like, okay, nah. And you're right. The on-screen romance was the worst idea possible for her at that time.
Terrible.
The last thing that they needed to do with Becky was to make her softer. And then to not only make her soft, to not even 100% commit to it, right? So you're going to make her softer, but she's being dragged kicking and screaming into the softness, which is like, so because you're making a point for every time she's on the screen with Seth, you got to say something like, you got to pump her back up with some really ultra defiant kind of response. Because yes, I'm married to him, but I flexed on you. You saw that, you know, and it's just like, it would have been better if they would have just kind of made her fall. Like Seth just has her so mesmerized that she's totally lost herself, right? That would have been better. And then it would have created for her to flip the switch back on, you know, at some point. But this hybrid Becky,
this ain't it, Chief.
This ain't it.
And I also want to be clear, this match can absolutely suck.
Absolutely.
Because, all right, there's a lot of people that were upset last year when Charlotte got thrust into the triple threat match. But I have a theory on this. Not just because it's Charlotte, but I think that match needed a ring general.
Yes, I wrote that. And I got destroyed. But exactly what you said. I said they need Charlotte because those two cannot put on the type of match that is worthy of this spot. They need Charlotte's athleticism.
So that's what I said last year. I said that a lot. I was like, look, I'm not a fan of it, but I get it from an in-ring standpoint because Charlotte is the glue that can keep that match from sucking.
Yes.
You fast forward a year from now, Becky hasn't gotten any better, and now she's in the ring with somebody who needs a ring general with Shayna. So now we have Shayna and Becky in what can potentially be a methodically plotting match in an empty arena with no crowd juice, no energy. But this match can be absolutely horrible.
Horrible. It better start the show.
Yeah, I mean, they got to get that out of here quick because look, man, I get fatigued every WrestleMania.
Yes.
I think I've been to 9 or 10 WrestleManias in my life.
Yeah.
And I remember Dallas, I was about to die. And I remember like you got to find spots to get these matches out of the way because you look at them, you're like, this is going to be like, whenever I go, I'm like, all right, this is my merch match. This is where I'm going to go buy merch.
Yeah.
This is my match where I'm going to go, like, and I look at this match. If it doesn't happen early, this is going to be in danger of having me tune completely out, and it'll get a worse rating than it would if it would have started the match because I ain't got time for this.
No.
I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch. So hopefully they find a way to make this match good and early, but this match has the potential to absolutely stink.
Yes, I would agree.
You know, what we didn't talk, though, is what are we doing with Goldberg here?
Yeah, like because you paid him already, I'm sure. So he's got to do something, right?
He's going to have a match.
We just don't know what.
We don't know what, but he's going to have a match.
Well, I guess, you know, that's actually a good thing because we will stand around and wait and watch to see what that match is going to be. And even though we'll all probably watch it like this, we'll still watch it. We'll still watch it. So, yeah, that is, I don't know who. So how many matches is that, man?
There's like 16 matches because there's still the women's tag title match. which Asuka, which has been phenomenal in commentary, but she's, whatever. But yeah, so the one person who doesn't have a match booked, who could wrestle Goldberg, is Braun Strowman.
Well, and that's pretty much been the rumor that was going to be the case. And so does this become Braun Strowman's crowning moment, which should have happened a year and a half ago, 2-3 years ago, maybe?
It's over for Braun. This is my humble opinion.
Yeah.
You never struck while the iron was hot. And now, from me, look, you might as well keep Goldberg here a little bit longer. Just have Braun put him over. Just spear him to death because he can't jackhammer him. This ain't 1997 when he could jackhammer the Big Show. It's not happening here. But I just can't see Braun with the title, man. Not like this.
Honestly, I here's why I can see it happening, and here's why I think, and because I'm going to say this, and because it makes perfect sense to me, is all the reason why what you're saying is going to happen. But what I think could and should happen is you have Braun beat Goldberg, and it is a tainted secondary type of a win, but you make that a part of the story. You make the part, you push it moving forward where people are basically telling Braun, so are you really a real champion? You beat an old man who lucked up on the title to begin with, and you beat him in an arena with nobody watching. Are you a real champion? And so that becomes the story until he gets an opportunity to actually beat somebody who is of some significance, but then he faces Roman and he loses. So then that still becomes, he hasn't ever really, so he got his title reign, which technically goes into the books, but he then still is still kept into a role where he can chase because he didn't get the full respect because his title was tainted. And then you still get an opportunity to put Reigns over and have him be the Universal Champion, which is what you want to do anyway. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't want to see Roman and Braun wrestle ever again. But therein lies my problem with Roman Reigns. I don't see him wrestling a lot of people ever again because he's kind of ran the gamut on everybody.
He's wrestled everybody, man. He's wrestled everybody. Like, he needs Tommaso Ciampa or something, man. He needs Johnny Gargano. Oh my God, Roman Johnny Gargano would be an amazing match.
It would, but that's when they're going to keep him in this prominent spot, which means, the Braun Strowman angle will work because, you kind of Jack Swaggered him at this point. You put the title on Braun and you're just like, so maybe that is the angle that you work with here because, look, man, the Goldberg Reigns match was terrible from the jump. It
was horrible.
And if you can find your way out of it, I guess you go for it.
It should have been a squash match. It should have been Roman coming out squashing him in 15 seconds.
Yeah. Because he's going to blow up anyway. Like, he's going to blow up on his way to the ring in the PC, which is like a 6-foot ramp. He'll be tired by the time he gets to the ring.
Man, so it's bad. It's bad.
Well, that's WrestleMania.
Yes, it is. That's WrestleMania. And man, it was truly a pleasure talking WrestleMania 36. Like I said, I wish we were talking about a wrestling event that was going to take place in front of crowds in a healthy environment. I wish we were talking about a better card with a better build, but this is what we got. I guess to in a weird way, I am happy that Vince has provided somewhat of a diversion from reality of what's happening. I certainly hope he hasn't put anyone at risk in the process, which we already know he has. So we already know he has. But that's what it is, man. So I truly hope that we get an opportunity to talk again, man. Like I said, this was a blast, and that's what I got, man.
Well, look, man. Anytime you want to talk pro wrestling, boxing, MMA with me, I'm here for it. I love the smoke. Fortunately, we didn't have any smoke to have in this.
No smoke, man.
We didn't have nothing here, but I'm sure as time progresses, we'll find something to disagree on. But
absolutely,
16-match WrestleMania, so many matches. I'm sure somebody's gonna say you guys didn't talk about like the Street Profits. Look, Street Profits are gonna win. There's that. But we're gonna have so much more to talk about, and I'm glad to be here, and I look forward to being back here to talk with you some combat sports pro wrestling again.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you watching, everybody. I appreciate Andreas for joining me today. As always, God bless and peace.